Telltale messed up with The Walking Dead. For starters, I'm pretty sure you're angry about the title, but let me explain. They did great with what they had for the story, but they had no idea they would do a season 2, let alone 4. And if they did, I'm sure that they would have never shut down after the final season, because a lot would change, as the creators already confirmed that they killed off Lee, simply due to thinking season 1 would be the first and last season of all games, which was obviously not true at all. I believe if they knew they would do more seasons, Lee would have survived, but not only just Lee. I feel like more characters would have been used, and some characters who would have died would have lived instead. Due to them thinking it would be only one season, they killed off a lot of characters who definitely would have provided a lot more for the story than in the original if they had lived, which would have gave them the chance for more seasons. In my opinion, I think it would have been 6 minimum if Lee and some of these other characters weren't messed up on if they thought they were doing more seasons, which they clearly didn't. Now let me explain why and how Telltale messed up on The Walking Dead. For starters, I'm not saying that Telltale did a bad job with the game or the story. They did a great job. I'm just saying that they messed up a lot because they had no plans to make a season 2, let alone 4. Season 1 was supposed to be in all, but the success pretty much forced them to make more of the games. And since they saw season 1 would be the first and last of the Walking Dead games, they messed up on a lot of things that, in my opinion, could have saved the company when they eventually went bankrupt. Potentially, I think it could have took the seasons of The Walking Dead for 4 seasons to, in my opinion, 6 at the very bare minimum. So let me start off with the person they messed up with the most, and my third favorite character through all 4 seasons, Lee Everett. First off, I'm going to start with saying Telltale did a great job with Lee's story. It's almost perfect, and if you haven't played the games, I recommend you go play them because there will definitely be spoilers for all 4 seasons in this video. Now let's get into it. Telltale Games had no plans of making further seasons of The Walking Dead, so throughout the first season, we saw almost everyone die. Lee, dead. Carly/Doug, dead. Doug, dead. Kenny was supposed to be dead when he got separated. That was the conclusion to his arc, saving Ben or either Krista. Lily left on the side of the road for dead, or stole the RV never to be seen again. And Chuck, dead after being a great part of the plot and a very important part of the season. They had no care about killing off of these characters because there wasn't going to be a second season. I feel like if they knew there was going to be a second, third, and fourth season, some characters who we see as wasted wouldn't have been. Let's start with Lee. First of all, Lee was not wasted. His story was perfect, start to finish, well, almost. Protecting Clementine to the end, teaching her how to survive feels great to play through. And it also feels unique. It feels so unique, in fact, that every time I play the game over again, and I played the first season too many times to count, but if Telltale knew that they were going to do another season, Lee would have most likely never died in season 1, and season 2 most likely would have never had such a big time jump if Lee was the main character. Lee was the main attraction of season 1. If you take away Lee and replace him with anyone else, the game would have probably flopped and Telltale would have most likely ran out of business a lot sooner. Imagine being able to see Lee in season 2 with just a slightly older Clementine, who I believe wouldn't be aged up to 11 like in the canon season 2, but maybe aged up to like halfway through age 9, just a few months after season 1. But just Lee and Clem alone wouldn't do it. So imagine seeing Lee interact with Pete, Luke, Nick, Carver, and Kenny once he returns in season 2. It would have been great, and season 2, which is my favorite season of all games to play through, it wouldn't be nearly as misunderstood and hated as much as it is today by fans. But Telltale could have survived with Lee, and they did for 4 seasons. And Lee's arc in season 1 was perfect, so I feel like there's a chance they still would have killed Lee, just not in season 1. I'd imagine Lee would have been a playable character for 2 seasons, still protecting and teaching Clem, and with a season 2, if Telltale knew they would do one. I don't think it would focus on Lee teaching Clem how to survive anymore like how it did in season 1. Or if he is fit to do so, like how most people try to judge him in season 1 while he was teaching to Clem. I feel like it would have focused more on if Lee would be able to do it right, as is he teaching Clem the right way to survive without losing her humanity, but also making sure she isn't too innocent like she is in season 1 to avoid any further manipulation from strangers that could cause any more danger. I feel like in a story where Lee survives in a season 2 with a slightly younger Clem than which he was in the original season 2, Lee sees Clementine slowly becoming more and more like him depending on player choices. You could see Clem becoming like AJ, a shoot-first survivor and misunderstood child raised in a violent world, or someone with a role model that is too nice and too soft to raise a child in a world full of monsters who eat the living people. As Clementine remains innocent and preserves that humanity, but at the cost of her safety, and not only her safety, but the cost of Lee's safety and others, and also at the cost of Lee's humanity. She wouldn't be exactly helpless like Sarah, as Clementine never was, but if you played the games, you get what I'm trying to say. If Lee is too ruthless in his actions by player choice and what he teaches Clem, she becomes more like AJ. She looks for the dangerous things first. She is paranoid. She doesn't hesitate to shoot first yet either. And she takes action alone. And she's a bit of a troublemaker, but not a bad kid necessarily. But it would show in her words and actions in every second that she is on screen that Clementine is changing, probably for the worse. And it's up to Lee to decide. It's up to the player to decide, does Lee try to make her Clementine preserve that childlike innocence? Or does Lee stop doing that and teach her survival so she can learn how to fend for herself in the world where when Lee is gone, but he may raise a monster while trying to raise her to protect herself? That would be an amazing story to play through, and something that would definitely intrigue others and the fans emotionally. The next character I feel like would have changed a lot if Telltale knew about a future season 2 is Carly. She was definitely wasted by the games, no doubt. Sure, her death does a lot for the story and for Clementine's development, but think about what her survival could have did for her as well. To me, there is no story where Lee survives where Carly doesn't survive as well. If you ask me, I feel like Carly needs to be in a story where Lee would survive to balance him out and give him that love interest he needs, but not just for the love interest part. Carly was also Lee's moral anchor in the first season besides Clementine, as Clementine was more so of Lee's goal and redemption, and Carly was the one who really kept Lee's morals intact if you pay attention and had those moments with her. If Lee says he thinks it's Ben who must have been attacked and they're in the RV and to tell Lily the truth, Carly tells him to have a heart. If Lee overdoes it when fighting Andy St. John, Carly is the one to tell him to stop. When Lee is about to feed her in the drugstore, and in the motor inn, she is the only one to ask about Clementine first and decline the food besides Katja. Well, Katja doesn't even ask about Clementine, she just declines the food. To me personally, I feel like there's no way they would still kill off Carly if they knew they were planning another season. While Clem is Lee's redemption and the only family he has left, Carly was the only one in the group who, no matter how you played, seems to be up next to joining that family no matter what Lee does. The family Lee is building with Clem, and she could definitely play a mentor and mother-like role for Clem. With all that being said, I think it's agreed upon that Carly was wasted by the fans, but in my opinion, if Telltale knew they were doing another season, there's no way Carly dies in season 1. Now, if Carly were to survive with Telltale having another plan, another plan for a season, I do feel like there needs to be another character. And if you ask me, what happened with Lily's story in season 1 up to her return in the final season is perfect. But if Carly survives, then someone else needs to die in her place. And also, Doug wouldn't be able to survive. Both of them wouldn't be able to survive episode 1, as Lee would only have to save one of them. This character wouldn't just be a throw-in though. I'd imagine they would have interesting moments and an important role in the group. This person would probably be a reckless, shoot-first, screw-up type of character. Don't think of Ben, think more of Nick from season 2 of the original games. And I imagine he would save Carly at the cost of being shot himself, and that would be the conclusion to his character's arc after screwing up a lot. Now, the next character of season 1 I think they would have definitely changed a lot is Duck. There's also a huge chance they still would have killed him off as just Telltale. I think they wouldn't have made Duck die if they knew they were doing the season 2. Instead, I think Katja will be bitten in episode 3 when the band is attacked, because why would they kill Duck? Duck had some of the most potential in season 1, especially after that episode 3 when his interaction with Lee when they were investigating. And they threw it away. I'm not just saying this because he's Kenny's son, but because of what he represents for Clementine. He is her friend and the only person Clementine can truly see eye to eye with during the chaos of the Walking Dead. And in episode 3, where Duck can help Lee investigate depending on player choice, well, he does it either way. the missing supply, investigate the missing supplies. That just screamed potential to me. And a future survival, a future survivor. To me, a lot of people probably think without Duck dying, Kenny's arc changes. Well, no. Kenny would definitely still not stop the train, even if Kaja is bit and not Duck. I would see this leading to Katja taking matters into her own hands, killing herself in front of Duck and Clementine while still on the train, which would have been a lot more tragic. The last character of season 1 who Telltale screwed up on, though not as much as the last few, is Molly. She showed up and was a badass. Sure, Lee can beat her pretty easy depending on how the player plays, but she was one of the best fighters, obviously, throughout the entire series. And she was a loner with morals. If you ask me, she is the exact opposite of Jane, who abandoned her sister purposely. Molly had no choice, and seeing her and Crawford with that history made me see see potential in her future. Imagine her in communities like House with going against Carver with Clem in season 2. That would be great. And if Lee dies and Molly stays, I would definitely see Lee asking her to be Clementine's new protector. But if Lee isn't bending or leaves, she would definitely be loyal to him and by his side if she stays. And that's it for today's video. Let me know if you agree down below, and I definitely plan to write out how I would view this version of season 2 and further seasons of Telltale's The Walking Dead, and I will publish said videos. But I will not be explaining it as a game with multiple choices, as that would make each video take hours. So instead, I would explain it as a show or series with how my version of Lee from season 1 would be in this hypothetical season 2. And please keep in mind that this is my opinion and I'm not any professional writer. I think I am good at writing, but I'm not that good at it. And obviously I'm no professional, but I definitely will publish the videos of how I see The Walking Dead Telltale series going if this version of season 1 were to happen. I might not explain how season 1 would go unless it's requested in the comments, so there may be some confusion when I publish those videos, but anyways, I'm done. Let me know if you agree or disagree down below, and with this take, I'll be done, and goodbye.